Did you know that some nuts you think are healthy might actually be harmful? It sounds crazy, right? But the truth is, not all nuts are as safe as they look. Some of them can hide toxins, spoil silently in your pantry, or even mess with your body if you eat too much. And the scariest part? Most people have no idea. If you've got a bag of mixed nuts sitting in your kitchen right now, you might want to check it immediately. Because depending on how they've been stored, or how long they've been sitting there, they could have turned into a real health hazard. And no, the smell doesn't always give it away. Sometimes, the danger is invisible. Here's the thing, nuts are a go-to snack for many people. They're crunchy, filling, and usually seen as a clean food. But what if I told you that some of the most popular types of nuts can become toxic, or even poisonous, under the wrong conditions? That healthy snack could actually be working against your health goals. You'd be surprised how many people eat these foods daily without realizing the risks. Some nuts naturally contain compounds that can be harmful in high amounts. Others, when exposed to heat or moisture, can grow dangerous molds that you definitely don't want in your body. And sometimes, all it takes is a little time sitting on the wrong shelf. But don't worry, we're not here to panic. We're here to learn. And today, I'll walk you through the biggest risks you should know about, how to spot a bad nut before it goes in your mouth, and how to store them the right way to avoid all this trouble. It's not about giving up your snacks, it's about getting smart with them. So, ready to take a closer look at what's hiding in your pantry? In the next part, I'll show you exactly which nuts could be dangerous, and why. And trust me, you might be shocked at what you find. Let's dive in. Let's start with something most people don't think about, old or poorly stored nuts. When nuts sit too long in warm, humid environments, they can develop mold and go rancid. That means the healthy fats inside break down into harmful compounds. Even if they look fine, they might be loaded with toxins that your body doesn't handle well. The worst part? You probably won't notice until it's too late. One of the biggest culprits is a group of toxins called aflatoxins, commonly found in peanuts and tree nuts when they get moldy. These aren't just bad for digestion, aflatoxins are linked to liver damage and even cancer. That's why storage matters so much. Leaving nuts out in a warm kitchen cabinet might seem harmless, but over time, it could turn that snack into a health risk. And here's another shocker, even healthy-sounding nuts like Brazil nuts can be dangerous in high amounts. They're super rich in selenium, which is great for your body, but too much of it can cause selenium poisoning. Symptoms include nausea, brittle hair, skin rashes, and even hair loss. So yeah, popping a handful every day? Not the best idea. Now let's talk about something most people really don't expect, nutmeg. Yep, the same spice you might sprinkle into coffee or baking. In small amounts, it's safe. But in large doses, it contains a compound called myristicin, which can trigger hallucinations, nausea, and even long-term neurological issues. This isn't just a myth, it's a real risk, especially in concentrated forms. Here's one more to watch out for, bitter almonds. They look almost exactly like sweet almonds but contain amygdalin, which can turn into cyanide in your body. Yes, actual cyanide, the kind that's highly toxic. While sweet almonds are safe, bitter ones can be deadly, especially if eaten raw and in large quantities. Thankfully, most store-bought almonds are safe, but if you forage or buy raw nuts, you need to be extra careful. So, to sum it up, even the good nuts can become bad news when stored the wrong way or eaten in excess. The goal isn't to fear these foods, it's to respect them. Understand where the risks are, and you can still enjoy all the health benefits they offer. Coming up next, I'll show you how to spot a bad nut before it ends up on your plate. Stay with me. Alright, let's get practical. How do you know when a nut has gone bad? One of the biggest red flags is the smell. Fresh nuts should have a mild, almost sweet aroma. But if they smell sour, musty, or like old oil, that's a clear sign they've gone rancid. Don't ignore your nose, it's often your first line of defense against spoiled food. Another thing to watch for is a change in color or texture. If the nut looks darker than usual or has an odd shine or greasy film on the surface, it's probably oxidized. That means the healthy fats inside have broken down and turned into harmful compounds. It may not make you sick instantly, but long-term, it's not something you want in your body. Check the packaging too. Is it puffed up, sticky, or damp? That could mean moisture got in, and where there's moisture, there could be mold. Nuts should always be stored in airtight containers, and once the seal is broken, they start aging fast. If your bag of nuts has been open for months, it might be time to let it go. Keep an eye out for spots or unusual markings. White dust, green fuzz, or gray specks are often signs of mold or fungus. Even a small patch means the rest could be contaminated, even if it looks okay. And yes, to be clear, moldy nuts are not safe to eat. Just one bad handful could cause stomach issues or worse. You might be thinking, but what about the expiration date? Good question. While that date is useful, it's not the only thing that matters. Your senses are more reliable, especially smell and sight. Some nuts go bad even before the printed date if stored improperly. Others might last longer if kept cold and dry. So here's your mission: take 5 minutes today to check your pantry. Look, sniff, and feel the nuts you've got stored. If anything seems off, toss it. It's not worth the risk. In the next section, we'll dive into why this happens and what you can do to keep your nuts fresh, safe, and full of nutrients for as long as possible. Let's get into the why. Nuts are naturally rich in healthy fats, especially unsaturated fats, which are great for your heart and brain. But here's the catch: those same fats are also highly sensitive to light, heat, and air. That means if you're not careful with how you store them, those fats break down and turn into compounds that can be harmful. Heat, humidity, and light are the 3 main enemies of fresh nuts. Ever left a bag of almonds near the stove or by a sunny window? Bad idea. Warm temperatures speed up oxidation, which makes the fats spoil faster. And moisture? It creates the perfect breeding ground for mold. Even a tiny bit can ruin the whole batch. Worse yet, when conditions are right, like a warm, damp kitchen, nuts can start to develop invisible toxins, like aflatoxins. You won't always see or smell the problem, but those substances can still be there. That's why prevention is key. You don't want to wait until something looks off to take action. So, what can you do? First, store your nuts in airtight containers. Glass jars with tight lids are a great option. And if they're clear, make sure to keep them in a dark place, or better yet, choose amber or opaque containers to block out light. Avoid those thin plastic bags they come in; they're not made for long-term storage. If you want to be extra cautious, refrigerate or freeze your nuts, especially if you buy in bulk. Cold storage dramatically slows down the oxidation process and keeps mold at bay. Just make sure they're sealed tight so they don't absorb moisture or odors from the fridge. Bonus, they stay fresher for months. So remember, enjoying nuts safely isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you care for them. In the next part, we'll clear up some of the biggest myths surrounding nuts and health. You might be surprised by what people get wrong and what food companies don't tell you. Let's talk about the so-called healthy nut mix you see in every grocery store. You know the one: colorful packaging, labeled natural, energy boost, or heart healthy. But have you ever flipped it over and read the ingredients? Many of these mixes are loaded with added sugars, cheap oils, and preservatives. Suddenly, that healthy snack doesn't sound so healthy, right? Another big myth is around the word natural. It's one of the most misleading labels in food marketing. Just because a product says natural doesn't mean it's free from additives, artificial flavors, or poor processing. In fact, some natural nut products are roasted in low-quality oils and coated with salt or sweeteners. It's a label, not a guarantee. Then there's the idea that more is always better, especially with Brazil nuts. Some people eat several a day thinking they're boosting their health. But remember what we said earlier? Too much selenium can be dangerous. Just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts a day is enough to get the benefits. Anything more can lead to toxicity over time. And let's not forget about peanuts. They're a favorite snack and a protein-packed option, but many people think they're always healthy. The truth? Peanuts are one of the most commonly contaminated nuts when it comes to mold and aflatoxins. That doesn't mean you have to avoid them entirely, just choose high-quality, fresh, and preferably organic sources when you can. Here's the bottom line: the problem isn't the nut itself, it's how it's processed, stored, and consumed. Raw almonds, for example, can be a great choice, but the flavored ones with added sugars and chemicals? Not so much. Marketing can trick even the most health-conscious shopper into buying something that's doing more harm than good. So if you've been doing your best, eating nuts daily and thinking you're making all the right choices, don't worry. You're not alone. The key is awareness. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what to do now, how to check your stash, how to shop smarter, and how to store nuts the right way to keep your health on track. Alright, it's action time. First thing, take a quick look at your pantry or kitchen shelf. Do you have any open bags of nuts just sitting there? Maybe a container that's been around for months? If so, don't wait. Grab them, open them up, and check. How do they smell? How do they look? Trust your senses. If anything feels off, it's better to toss it. Here's a quick checklist to help you out. Smell. Does it smell fresh or rancid? Color. Has it darkened or changed? Texture. Oily, sticky, or dry and brittle? Packaging. Is it airtight and dry? Location. Are they stored in a cool, dark place? This simple list can help you avoid a lot of future headaches and health issues. Now that you've done a little pantry cleanup, let's talk about storing nuts the right way. Keep them in airtight containers, ideally glass or BPA-free plastic. Store them in cool, dry, and dark places, away from heat and sunlight. And if you live in a warm or humid climate, your best bet is to store them in the fridge or freezer. Also, buy small quantities. It's tempting to buy in bulk to save money, but nuts don't last forever. A big bag that sits around for months is way more likely to spoil. Buy what you know you'll use in a few weeks. And whenever possible, choose organic and unprocessed options. They tend to be fresher and free of harmful additives. Let's not forget, nuts are amazing when they're fresh and properly handled. They give your body healthy fats, fiber, protein, and essential nutrients. But like anything, they require care and moderation. A little attention goes a long way. Your health is worth that extra step, don't you think? So now it's your turn. Head to your kitchen, do a quick inspection, and tell me in the comments, did you find any nut bombs hiding in your pantry? Let's share, learn, and help each other make healthier, smarter choices. Speech balloon.